Good evening, fellow patrons! The iconic Ballista from Black Ops 2 is finally here in Black Ops 7 Zombies, and you can unlock it right now by completing the new Fallout-themed Quantum Exchange event. This thing is making noise in multiplayer and Warzone, but is it as effective in Zombies? In this video, I will go over the strengths and weaknesses of this weapon, give you guys 2 different style builds for the Hawker, and I even take it into the Astra Malorum boss fight at round 60, which may have been a huge mistake. I honestly do not remember the Ballista all that well. I went back and looked at the other snipers in BO2, and I do not really remember using any of them. I've never been much of an avid sniper, but I do remember most of the popular ones from the earlier Call of Duties, which I started playing when Call of Duty 4 came out. Modern Warfare had the Dragunov, MW2 had the Intervention, and I'm pretty sure the Locust was in Black Ops 3 and Black Ops 4. My all-time favorite sniper has got to be the PTRS in World at War. The gun had so much recoil that it felt like you were shooting artillery shells when firing it. I wish Treyarch had put it in the upstairs cabinet on Nacht der Untoten instead of the dreaded Kar 98K, but I digress. The first thing that stood out to me when I first looked at the damage numbers for the Hawker was the massive 15 times critical multiplier. The critical damage is extremely high, but there is such a drastic fall off to the non-critical damage numbers that there is not a lot of room for you to hit non-critical shots. Luckily, this gun is versatile enough to where you can place accurate critical shots with contrasting builds. There is something so satisfying about the rechamber speed of the Hawker. It is so easy to get into rhythm, especially once you pack it. After it is upgraded, the Hawker's aim down sight speed is increased significantly and headshots are effortless. Hopping into the ADS build I went with, the iron sights will increase your visibility tremendously. I feel like a lot of people always sleep on the muzzle brake. The attachment isn't near as important in Zombies than in multiplayer, but essentially what the muzzle brake will do for you is dramatically decrease the visual shake of your screen when shooting this gun. This ultimately gives you a smoother firing experience, and you will most likely see yourself pulling the trigger faster than you typically would be because the recoil process is quicker than usual with the kick reset speed decrease. The Prestige attachment is a no-brainer. It drastically increases your mobility and handling, with the only drawback being a 20% increase in recoil. Easy money. I went with the mobility underbarrel so that I get an increase to movement speed and aim walking speed because I use PhD flopper and the tribologist augment to move around the map so frequently. I decided to go with the mobile quick draw grip. This will allow you to reach the ADS position faster upon rising back up to your feet from a slide, which is used a lot more than you think. With the Prestige attachment and underbarrel giving boosts to movement speed, you don't need the mobility stock to bail you out. 5.7 meters per second is still very quick. I also do not think flinches is that big of an issue when you are quick scoping instead of hard scoping. I think the mobile flinch stock is the best option for most snipers as it gives you an increase in flinch resistance and aim walking speed. One of the more essential attachments to the ADS build is the Straylock laser, which significantly tightens your hip fire spread as you aim down sights. This will improve your critical shot percentage drastically. And lastly, I'm not usually a believer in rapid fire, as most of the fire rate increases are well under 10%. The Hawker's rapid fire attachment increases the rate of fire by 19%, which is too much of an increase in DPS to ignore. I chose to use the Dead first major augment from Deadshot Dakery, and I believe that highest damage output number I saw was 78,720. This is over the health cap, which technically means this sniper is a one-shot past health cap, but that being said, it is weaker than the other snipers in its class. Damage does not tell the entire story, though a lot of players in the Zombies community may not know this, but Treyarch removed the cap they previously placed on penetration damage, or FMJ. It used to be that a weapon or bullet could pass through up to 3 zombies at one time, but now this number is dependent on the penetration power of the weapon. I remember being surprised that I was able to kill 7 zombies with 1 combat axe back when the beta released. That being said, don't sleep on FMJ as a fire mod or the augments that pertain to armor or penetration damage. The Dead Break minor augment from Deadshot, the double caliber from Double Tap, and double caliber from the never-ending research ammo mod, Shatterblast, are all great to have in any augment loadout. The second way you can use the Hawker to improve its accuracy is by way of the tactical laser. The attachments I'm about to show you will shrink the tactical hipfire spread to where it is literally a cross, with no space in between various points of the crosshair. Unlike the ADS build I mentioned earlier, you do not want to equip an optic with the tactical laser, as you will need to equip a magazine attachment, which I will specify later in this segment. The Prestige barrel is an obvious choice as it improves your hip fire and tactical stance spreads, your movement speed, as well as your ADS speed. The only drawback of this barrel is the increased recoil, which is hardly noticeable in tac stance. The Hawker mobile grip complements this attachment by improving movement speed and aiming movement speed. So my reasoning for equipping the 6-round fast mag is to not only to get a bump in reload speed, but the slight increase to your ADS speed will allow to shrink your tactical stance spread as quickly as possible. This ultimately improves your accuracy and critical shot percentages. I went with the accuracy grip because I tend to like to fire 2 to 4 shots while I am aiming in tactical stance before repositioning. This grip greatly reduces the recoil scale of the first shot, which allows placement of the other shots in that burst to be much easier. The tactical stock further shrinks your tac stance and hip fire spread. And for our fire mod, the rapid fire attachment increases the rate of fire by 19%. When you are aiming in the tactical stance, your movement speed becomes extremely slow. So what I like to do is equip the Ammo Surge Major augment from Speed Cola and the Dead Heat Minor augment from Deadshot. These two augments together will allow you to generate additional space between you and the zombies, which will ultimately allow you to stay grounded in your tactical stance for a longer period of time prior to repositioning. It's a huge quality of life improvement. Overall, the Hawker is what I expected it to be. It's a flashy gun with some interesting quirks and features, but it's not viable at extremely high rounds. I can't tell you the last sniper that we had in Zombies that was a true meta. Maybe never. The only sniper-like rifle that I can think of that was next level elite was the Scavenger from Call of the Dead, and technically that's a wonder weapon. I think it would be fun to have a future wonder weapon be extremely OP, but at the same time have either a massive skill gap associated with it or some sort of negative effect be inflicted on your character if you use it improperly. Let me know what you guys would like to see in a future wonder weapon. I'll catch you in the next one. JJet out.